Can they stay in the house? Should they stay in the house? And what happens if something worse happens? Most families don't ask these questions until a crisis forces their hand. And by then, the pressure is already there. Today, I want to show you how to recognize this moment before that pressure takes over, and how to think through these decisions in a way that protects your loved one, your family, and your peace of mind. Because there's a moment that happens in almost every family, and almost nobody prepares for it the way that they should. That moment doesn't arrive clearly. It doesn't come with a meeting or a plan. It starts quietly, almost invisibly, with small changes that are easy to overlook. A forgotten detail, a repeated story, a slight hesitation going up or down the stairs. And most people, they do what you'd expect. They tell themselves, it's nothing. We'll deal with it later. But later does not come gradually. It shows up all at once and with decisions. What I want to do in this video is walk you through how to think through those decisions properly, because getting them right can make this transition manageable, and getting them wrong can create stress that is very hard to unwind. One of the reasons that this process feels so overwhelming is that it's never just one decision. It's layers of decisions, and they're all happening at the same time. You're dealing with changes in health, which affects safety and independence. You're dealing with living arrangements, which affect daily life. You're dealing with legal authority, who actually has the ability to decide. And you're dealing with finances, what's possible and what needs to be preserved. And then layered over all of that, you're dealing with emotion. Not just your own emotions, but everyone's. And all of this is happening simultaneously, often without a clear roadmap. And that's why approaching this as just a real estate decision is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. Because by the time you get to the house, you're already deep into something much, much bigger. In a moment, I'm going to show you exactly how these layers of decisions played out in my own family, and one mistake we made that I don't want you to repeat. The reason I speak about this the way that I do is because I've lived it. A few years ago, my wife Deborah and I went through something that completely changed how I think about this stage of life. Her father passed away, and that alone shifted everything emotionally and practically. And not long after that, Joanne, her stepmother, fell and broke her ankle. And at first, it seemed manageable. But looking back, that was the beginning of a much larger transition. Because when someone loses a spouse and then experiences a physical setback, independence becomes fragile much faster than people expect. About 5 months later, she had a stroke, and from there were numerous other serious medical challenges over the course of several months. And what happens in that moment is subtle, but it's incredibly important. You move from reacting to deciding. And those decisions don't come with clear answers. We were showing up constantly, trying to understand what was happening, trying to advocate, trying to piece together information from different providers. And at the same time, we were asking difficult questions. Can she go back home? Is it safe? What happens if she insists? What happens if we disagree? And here's something I think is really important to understand. She had friends, good people, caring people. When things became serious, they couldn't be relied upon consistently. Because eventually, someone has to decide. And in our case, that became us. At first, I was helping, advising, and stepping in where needed. But at a certain point, that changed. A family friend who had been handling things stepped away, and I took on the legal responsibility to protect Joanne's interests and make sure that her wishes were followed. And that shift from helping to being responsible changes everything. Because now you're not just discussing options, you're making decisions that affect someone's life in very, very real ways. This is where most families start to feel overwhelmed. Even with my background as an attorney, understanding wills, estates, and trusts, this was still difficult. Because knowing something intellectually and carrying the responsibility emotionally are two very different things. Going through that experience with Joanne made me realize something very clearly. Families in this situation need more than a realtor. They need someone who understands what it actually feels like to be in that position and can help guide them through it. That's why I created Silver Key Senior Transition Services in conjunction with my real estate business. Silver Key isn't just about selling a home. It's about guiding the entire transition. And in some cases, if a senior doesn't have someone who can step into that role, I can take on that responsibility, serving as a fiduciary or power of attorney when appropriate. But more broadly, what I provide is clarity and structure in situations that often feel overwhelming. There are really two ways that families go through this. The first is proactive, planning ahead, having conversations early, thinking through options before something forces a decision. And that path gives you something incredibly valuable: time, options, clarity. Now, the second way is reactive. Something happens, and now decisions need to be made quickly, sometimes very quickly. If you're watching early, do this now. Start the conversation, understand living options, identify the decision makers. I work with both situations, but if you have the opportunity to start early, it makes everything much easier. To do this well, I've invested very heavily in training. I became a certified senior advisor, completing extensive coursework and passing a rigorous exam. I earned the SRES designation through the National Association of Realtors. This focuses specifically on guiding seniors through real estate decisions in the context of life transitions and not just transactions. And I have trained through the Senior Real Estate Institute, which builds a full ecosystem around these transitions, connecting housing decisions with care, planning, and support systems. Because no one person and no family should have to figure all of this out alone. These decisions look different depending on the situation. Some clients are staying local and trying to decide how to downsize within Northern Virginia. Others are moving here to Northern Virginia from out of state to be closer to their family. And each path comes with its own set of unique decisions. Where to live, what level of support is needed, how to transition without adding stress. If you're helping a parent move here, having someone local who understands all of this can make a huge difference. So in the end, with Joanne, things worked out very well. We helped her transition to assisted living, and she's been thriving there with the appropriate levels of support and made many new friends. I sold her a house and worked with an estate sales company to empty out the possessions. Now, at the end of the day, this isn't really about real estate. It's about decisions and helping people make the right ones at the right time for the right reasons. It's about dignity and making sure that one of the most difficult transitions in life is handled with care, clarity, and compassion. And if I can help families avoid even part of the overwhelm, uncertainty, and pressure that Deborah and I experienced, then Silver Key is doing exactly what it was meant to do. If you're facing this now, or even if you just see it coming down the line in your family, reach out, even if it's just a conversation. Because when this moment comes, you should not have to figure it out all alone.